Parish and a part of Tangipahoa Parish on the North Shore. So not only do we have the possibility of a tornado, it's radar indicated, rotation, possible tornado. We've got the very strong winds. I can tell you that for sure. We have very strong winds along this line. The line is making its way through Kentwood. It's already, blowing wind and heavy rain and a lot of lightning for northern Tangi. And then that is also starting to move into Washington Parish right now. Strong winds, lightning, heavy rain, and the possibility of quick spin-up tornadoes. No reports of any damage, no reports of anything like that, of that nature at this juncture, which is, good news. We'll see, how that changes, how that unfolds the rest of tonight. I want to see if maybe there's any indication of possibly some debris being lofted up. I'm not really seeing anything that jumps off the map here, which is a good sign. So hopefully, if there is some rotation within this storm, it's high up, it's off the ground, and hopefully it's not impacting anyone, but it's a suspicious storm. It has the ability to rotate, the entire area. All of Southeast Louisiana, all of South Mississippi is under a tornado watch until 2 a.m. because these storms really can pack a punch and can rotate and can produce tornadoes. So that's why we have that watch in effect, which means it's possible. And now we have a warning for a good portion of the North Shore, Tangipahoa, and Washington Parish, which does include Franklinton right now. And also part of the warning does include South Mississippi, Tylertown, which is out of our immediate area. And the suspicious storm itself, or the rotation, is still hovering on the state line. So it is north of Franklinton now. But the way that the line of storms is moving is kind of an east-southeast direction. So that's why the warning has been extended in this direction to include Washington Parish, which does include Franklinton, and this tornado warning again is in effect until 8 p.m. So we will be here watching how this storm progresses over the next, over half hour or so. But the rotation itself, again, a bit broad, the reds and the greens. So the red indicating the winds will be going away from the radar, and then the greens indicating that the winds will be going towards the radar. So kind of a spinning motion. That's what we look at on our radar data to see where a tornado could possibly be. And then the rotation itself at this point, it's broadened out a bit. So that's a welcome sight. You don't want it when it's very close together and it's bright and you can see it, then you got something going on here. But when it's broad like this, it's hard to determine exactly, it doesn't look as bad. It doesn't look as bad. It's something that you want to see. It's a bit weaker of a rotational signature, but still rotation is possible out ahead of this line. That's very common with these line segments that come in, these squall lines out ahead of it. You get like this hump kind of structure, or like a Boeing structure, and with that you can get very quick spin up tornadoes. They're usually, they go in and out pretty quickly, and they're usually weak, and it's hard to see them because there's so much rain around it. It's very hard to detect the rotation within these kind of lines of storms out ahead of it. So this is what we have at the moment. We are continuing to watch to see if there's any reports of any damage. Nothing at the moment. I did want to zoom out so you can still see the tornado warning again for parts of the North Shore, for parts of Washington Parish, which includes Franklinton, as we watch this storm right on the state line. So it is moving southeastward, the storm. So this is where the tornado warning is now until 8 o'clock. But there's also the yellow blinking box. That's a severe thunderstorm warning because the line is packing a punch. Damaging wind gusts 60 miles per hour will be blowing through the North Shore over the next couple of hours. A lot of lightning and heavy downpours with that line as well. So we'll be watching this line of storms over the next, several hours, and this is really impacting the North Shore tonight. The South Shore later tonight, maybe closer to 10 or 11, we'll get some storms coming through. I'm not sure how strong they'll be that late. They might lose some of their intensity once they reach the South Shore, say around 9 or 10 o'clock tonight. So like New Orleans Metro and points southward, yes, we will have some storms later on, between like 9 p.m. and midnight. They might be sub-severe. We might get some stronger wind gusts, some heavy rain quickly passing through, but it looks like the worst of the weather will be for the North Shore. Like we've been talking about, the severe risk today was pretty high if you were north of the lake, and the farther south you went, the lower the risk was. So that's exactly what is playing out today. So hopefully everyone, got the proper information out ahead of this. I did want to bring up the latest updates, see if there's any updates from the National Weather Service, because a lot of people, like emergency managers and just, people that live out there or traveling around there, sometimes call them up and say, this is what I'm seeing. So I want to see if there's any reports of any sort of damage or anything like that. Nothing as of yet, which is always a good sign. But there have been, damages, reports of damage at least for parts of Southwest Mississippi. Earlier today. So, earlier today, these storms have had a history of producing tornadoes and strong winds in western Louisiana and East Texas, northern Louisiana. And as the line gets closer to us, they're still pretty healthy and pretty strong and packing a punch. So these storms are still very robust, but no reports of damage in our immediate area as of yet. The storm here that looks, the worst is on the northwestern part of Washington Parish now, is hugging the state line of South Mississippi at this point. Also, an update from the National Weather Service. They actually trimmed back the timing on the tornado watch. So previously we were under a tornado watch until 2 a.m. It's 11 p.m. now. So that's good. A little bit earlier, the tornado watch will be done at 11 p.m. tonight. So that's a highlight. Also, there is actually a new update coming in. There are some power lines down on Varnado Road in Walker, and that is from Walker, Louisiana. So power lines down on Varnado Road in Walker. So yeah, these storms are very strong. Don't be surprised if you're in Tangipahoa Parish, the northern part of it, even the southern part of it over the next hour. Maybe you get some downed trees, maybe you lose power briefly, hopefully for not too long. But yeah, as this line of storms continues to push eastward, we're talking very strong winds, 60-mile-per-hour gusts possible. That could certainly knock down some power lines, any weak trees, things like that, weak structures. Here is the suspicious part of the storm where the tornado warning is. That warning in effect until 8 o'clock. This is where that rotation is being noted right on the state line, but it's broad in nature, so that means it's a bit weaker, which is a good sign. But we'll watch it to see if there are any changes. There's certainly, something going on here, but is it jumping off the map? Is it something to go into a full-scale panic about? No, certainly not. If it was, we would certainly say that. But, still heed the warning. If you're in Franklinton to Tylertown is in South Mississippi, get in a safe place, away from windows and doors, interior room, wait this storm out, wait for it to pass by, wait for things to calm down. Don't try to go outside and get into this mess right now. So away from windows and doors, interior room, bathroom works, things like that. Make sure your phone is charged in case this line of storms knocks out any power. You don't want to be without your phone tonight, just for even entertainment purposes. If the storms come through and knock out some power, it's certainly possible because the strong winds with this line is the top concern, and then the other concern would be those quick spin up tornadoes out ahead of it, where we can get these inflow notches of air. Like an inflow of air can help spawn a tornado ahead of this leading edge of storms. So this is what we're watching right now. Just to reset, it's 7:28. We're under a tornado warning for parts of South Mississippi, but also parts of the North Shore. So it's right on the state line. The tornado warning is in effect for most of Washington Parish. It does include Franklinton, though the worst part of the storm, at least where there's a suspected tornado, where there's suspected rotation, it looks to be still hugging the state line here. So that is where it's at, right on the state line of Louisiana and Mississippi. But this leading edge of storms, like I mentioned, can certainly spawn a quick tornado. Now, I did want to zoom out and get a bigger picture of how things are looking across the entire region, since we do have more rough weather on the way the rest of tonight. Here it is. Here's the line of strong storms coming our way, moving their way through Tangipahoa Parish and Washington Parish. Now the leading edge is, so that means we have a few more hours of rough weather. The worst of the weather will be felt north of the lake. And we'll be done with this, I'd say, around midnight tonight for both the North and South Shore. Now, when it comes to the South Shore, yes, we will have some strong storms for the New Orleans metro area getting into, later tonight, 9, 10 o'clock tonight. We'll see, how much they maintain their strength on the South Shore, but, we will have some strong storms on the South Shore, say about 9 to midnight tonight. So we're all getting in on some action today, just some of us worse than others, and the worst being north of the lake now. New update coming in here. This is a new severe thunderstorm warning. It includes now basically all of the North Shore, St. Tammany Parish, Tangipahoa Parish, and into Washington. Also parts of South Mississippi, Pearl River County, included in the severe thunderstorm warning that has just been issued, the yellow box here, because of the strong winds with that. That's the big thing, is the winds. Those winds will probably knock down some trees and power lines and maybe give us some power outages, unfortunately. We'll still be watching out ahead of it for any quick spin-up tornadoes, like how we're dealing with this tornado warning now for Washington Parish now until 8 o'clock. So we've got some time on this thing as we continue to watch what it does and how it, moves forward in time. There is still some rotation indicated here. Again, the reds and the greens are just like a representation of the wind. So the greens would be indicating that the winds are moving towards the radar, and the radar is in Hammond. And then the red indicates that the winds are moving away from the radar, and that's that really signature look of what it looks like when you have a tornado on a radar. But the only silver lining with that is that it's a broad sort of thing. It's not like a tight couplet. So when it's more broad, that means that the storm is not very strong. It's weaker. No, there is some rotation, I think, indicated here, but it's not, jumping off the map. But, something to certainly keep an eye on, stay indoors. A closer look at that warning. A lot of, northern Washington Parish is kind of rural in this part, but still, this warning does include Franklinton in Washington Parish. So if you're in Franklinton, just get inside anyway, because we're going to have strong storms coming in. Even if you don't have a tornado, you're going to have some very strong wind gusts that it's going to feel, what's the difference at that point when you have those strong winds coming through. So that's what we have for the rest of tonight. Just some rough weather for the next several hours, especially on the North Shore at this point. No reports of any damage coming in yet, besides what I had mentioned earlier, which is power lines being down on Varnado Road in Walker, Louisiana right now. So that is the only report, the most recent report of damage that I have gotten from our National Weather Service chat, and that is kind of just west of our viewing area. So that might be a delayed report or report from out west. So Walker is farther west anyway. So no reports when it comes to the North Shore yet, but I'm sure we might get some more information as the storm itself continues to push eastward. So this is what we have. Severe thunderstorms moving in north of the lake, severe thunderstorm warning, tornado warning, and that is what we'll be tracking with you for the next several hours. I don't know if over the next few hours we can pull up maybe some cameras, but there's really not much to show in our immediate viewing area yet, because New Orleans and southward, it's pretty quiet now. Also, it's fairly quiet for St. Tammany Parish. It's just things kind of unfold and get worse, and bad weather is on the way the rest of tonight. So that's the big thing. So here we go, tornado warning. If you're just joining us now, tornado warning in effect until 8 o'clock tonight, I should say, for Washington Parish on the North Shore. That is where there is suspected rotation within one of these thunderstorms. And not only do we have suspected rotation, but look at this line of storms. It is strong. This is a strong line of storms. These winds are packing a punch, 60, 70 mile per hour gusts, heavy rain, frequent lightning, probably some small hail falling out of these storms too. So we have some rough weather for North Shore spots and South Mississippi getting into the next, 2-3 hours. So the rest of tonight, really, we're going to have to deal with these very strong storms north of the lake. And then South Shore, a little bit more of a delay on the storms for the South Shore, probably closer to about 9-10 is when things start to move into the New Orleans metro. I don't think they're going to be as robust. We might get a couple severe warnings on the South Shore later tonight, but something to keep in mind if you have plans and you are out and about. We will have some rain and storms coming in across the area tonight, and we'll be dealing with these until about midnight or so tonight. So busy, rough weather, but then luckily, after this, these storms clear up overnight. Nothing will be going on tomorrow. Beautiful finish to the weekend, gorgeous weather tomorrow, and really nice weather actually going into the next week. So this is the only hiccup. This is the only bad weather that we have to deal with. And it is pretty rough, and we're kind of no stranger to this, but it's been a while since we've had to deal with some rough weather. I feel like we've been pretty quiet lately, thankfully. But now we get our fair share of some rough weather right now. So no new reports of damage, no new reports of anything of that sort. So that's always a good sign. I can throw back on here and take a look at what we're dealing with. So some more suspected areas of rotation. Now when I zoom in, you can see we're along just north of Louisiana 430. So this storm could have some, multiple areas of spin on them. So that's why it's just advised, if you're in the tornado warned area, to be in your safe place, like Hackley, Louisiana, Pine, Sheridan, along Louisiana 436. Louisiana 436 is the highway that if you live along there or know anyone along there, give them a call, let them know, there is a storm coming by that could produce a tornado. So I believe that the latest update now with this box no longer includes Franklinton. I think Franklinton has been excluded from the storm. Yeah, so Franklinton is just to the south of this tornado warned area. So it does include, parts of the North Shore, parts of Washington Parish, more rural spots like Louisiana 438, Louisiana 62, Louisiana 38. That's where we're going to see maybe some rotation in this general area now. Kind of a more rural spot, but I'm sure many people live there, at least some do, and they need to know what's happening there. Also, more rotation suspected, kind of broad and not as jumping out, not as much as jumping out here. That's south of Tylertown, but that's in South Mississippi. That's out of our area, and it's staying in South Mississippi. So maybe some broad, weaker rotation in South Mississippi there, just north of our area, and then maybe some other rotation, it looks like here in Washington Parish in a more rural spot. So, now Franklinton is excluded from that warning. But if you're north of Franklinton and you live there, you got some friends that live north or family in this kind of area, Hackley, this region, to Pine, these county roads or state roads, this is where you want to stay indoors and just wait this storm out, wait for, the warning to expire. And it does expire at 8 o'clock, so we do have about 20 more minutes left on the warning. Now, when it comes to seeing any debris being lofted into the air, it doesn't really look, nothing really so bright and nothing really jumping off the screen here, which is a good sign, which is also a very good sign. But, the winds that are packed with this storm, the winds on the leading edge of this line of storms could knock some trees down, could knock some power out. So that is what we have. Very damaging, or the very strong possibility of damaging winds right now with this line. That's our biggest concern with this line of storms that is coming through the North Shore, through northern Washington Parish, through Tangipahoa Parish now. And it's moving by quickly. That's another good thing to take note of. This line, I think, is sped up. It's moved really, rapidly across Louisiana this evening. So the sooner we can get these over with, right, the sooner the better, because we have a rest of our weekend to get to enjoy just some nasty weather tonight. Sometimes we're due for some of that, and we're getting it now. Very strong winds now for eastern Tangipahoa Parish. Very strong winds again for Washington Parish at this point. Tornado warning does include a portion of Washington Parish north of Franklinton. So Franklinton is no longer in the warned area, but it's more of a rural part of Washington Parish along Louisiana 438, along this roadway. Some small little villages and towns there. Make sure if you do know anyone there or happen to, or watching from there at this point, stay away from windows and doors. Lowest room of your home, wherever you're at right now, just like a bathroom, a closet, something like that. Just to wait this thing out, just to be extra safe, just to be, better be safe than sorry. Oh, some new information coming in for you I wanted to relay from the National Weather Service. So between Liberty and Macomb, so this is in South Mississippi, there have been a lot of trees that have been knocked down. So in Macomb, Mississippi, several trees have fallen down. So there certainly some history with this line of storms producing quite a bit of damage. So I wouldn't be surprised if there will be some more reports of trees down and other things damaged across parts of Washington Parish and Tangipahoa Parish as this leading edge of the storm pushes in. So yeah, some reports of damage for Macomb. I know that's kind of out of our viewing area, but still a good indication. It's close enough by to tell you that we're going to probably be dealing with at least some damage for parts of the North Shore, closer to the state line of Mississippi. This is where the area of suspected rotation is. So if there is a tornado, it would be near and right along Louisiana 438. Some indications that there could be some rotation near Thomas, which is a small town, small village in Washington Parish now. That's where we're watching this suspected tornado. So make sure you stay inside, wait this thing out. Tornado warning in effect until 8 o'clock this evening. But the storm is moving by pretty quickly. So it is moving by to the east-southeast orientation. And we'll watch this to see if the box gets extended. We'll watch to see if the rotation is held together, because that'll be something, to really pay attention to. How can this storm trend? How can this storm hold itself together But yeah, this is what we're watching, the rotation. A couple spots maybe of suspicion, one in South Mississippi out of our viewing area, and then one here along Louisiana 438, which is in Washington Parish, so a more rural spot of Washington Parish. So this is kind of right here, right near the state line. That's where we're watching this tornado warning until 8 o'clock. But the bigger, thing that we have going on is this line of very strong storms. Hammond seeing some very strong winds now through Amite City to Kentwood. Kentwood got the leading edge already, still raining pretty heavily in Kentwood, quite a bit of lightning too. But the strong winds are pushing through Hammond now, and we'll continue to fill in the rest of Tangipahoa Parish, and also we'll start to fill in more of St. Tammany, western St. Tammany, in the next half hour or so. Franklinton getting some heavy rain and strong gusty winds along that leading edge. Look at all the lightning within that storm as it moves eastward. We'll watch for maybe any other cells that may spin up out ahead of it. Maybe an individual spin up can't be ruled out. So I don't think we're completely done with the tornado threat. Clearly, we have a tornado warning for a part of the area, so it's possible as this leading edge advances forward, we might get a couple more warnings issued. We'll play it by ear, we will see, but as for now, we just have the one tornado warning that includes the northern section of Washington Parish and also part of South Mississippi, which is out of our viewing area, but close by. And then also that yellow blinking box, severe thunderstorm warning in effect because of that line of storms. Those gusts up to 60 miles per hour, that's going to be the biggest thing. Wind damage tonight for the North Shore, unfortunately. Could see some small hail, frequent lightning, heavy rain too. Hopefully everyone is inside and just ready to wait this thing out. Having just had Christmas the other day and enjoying the holiday season, hopefully you're inside playing with the stuff that you got for Christmas and kind of hanging out and taking it in stride tonight, because I know, we don't want to be out here dealing with this evening. So I'm trying to see if there's any other updates when it comes to any sort of damage or anything of that nature. Nothing in our immediate area. There has been, reports of damage off to the west in Livingston Parish, just out of our viewing area now. But, we still want to maintain this. We want to stay on it because there's a tornado warning in our area. I mean, it's for Washington Parish until 8 o'clock. It is a more rural section of the parish, right along Louisiana 438. If you have any friends or family there, give them a call. Make sure they know there could be possibly a rotating thunderstorm, possibly a tornado along Louisiana 438 there. But it is a pretty rural section of the parish. But, Thomas, near the state line, literally the state line of Louisiana and Mississippi, that's where we could have some rotation in this general vicinity right here. So that is the most problematic part of this storm. When it comes to the tornado, possible tornado, no guarantees that it's even on the ground, but that is why we have the warning. Really, the thing though that I keep harping on is the fact that the strong winds with this line, that might be the bigger issue, because the wind threat extends from the tip of the North Shore, obviously up more to the north, all the way down to Lake Maurepas. So that's that leading edge of very strong winds. And the tornado warning is only this small part, so that's concentrated there, but the severe thunderstorm line, the severe thunderstorm warning, includes all of the North Shore. So that's going to be our biggest threat here, is the damaging wind gusts, the straight line wind gusts. So I just got some word that we're going to pull up some traffic cameras back there. Okay, this is in Hammond, thank you. It's in Hammond, I-12 at I-55 West. It's not a good time to be on the road. If you can avoid any, traveling right now along I-55 anywhere along the North Shore, you saw that flash of lightning there, some strong storms moving through Tangipahoa Parish now. So yeah, you can see the raindrops of flashes of lightning. I know driving right now would be very treacherous for I-55. So if you can delay any travel north of the lake right now, please do it. Wait for about, I would say, 2 hours or so. If possible, because it's just going to be a rough ride if you're going to be taking I-55 now. Some very heavy rain moving along I-55 and strong winds blowing the car around too as this line advances over I-55 in Tangipahoa Parish, and it will continue to fill in the rest of the North Shore as well. So this is our issue for about the next 2 hours, I would say. Luckily, it's moving by pretty quickly. It could be even a little bit less than 2 hours from now. So 1 to 2 hours, the North Shore should be saying goodbye to these storms that, they're packing quite a punch. The rain is very heavy, so the blinding rain is certainly, we could see on our traffic camera, and the rain will, remain pretty significant with this line of storms, not to mention the wind, of course, and the lightning, and the isolated tornado potential out ahead of the line. And the wind potential, we know how these storms go sometimes at this point in the year. It gets warm, it gets humid. The severe ingredients are all there. We have a system coming through the lower Mississippi Valley. It all came together, and here we have a severe weather day. Other parts of the Deep South today definitely got a lot worse than what we're seeing now. So this is not, not a great night, but it could certainly be a lot worse, which I feel like we always say here, but it's true. There are neighbors in other states, even within Louisiana, farther west, certainly had a harder time today with the weather. But the night's not over for us yet. We'll see how things go. So far today we've been fairly good, but there could be some damage, some down trees, some power outages expected, is at least possible north of the lake as this line continues to push through, because the worst of it is making its way along in Tangipahoa Parish and along I-55. We showed you the traffic cameras. It's a rough ride right now, heavy rain and quite a bit of lightning within this storm. And I just wanted to pop back onto the tornado warning to see how things are trending when it comes to the storm velocity or the storm winds. So this area that we've been watching along Louisiana 438, the suspected area of rotation in Thomas, that is what I would imagine is the most problematic part of the storm, where there could be, well, actually we just got a new update in here, and things look to be looking a lot better, actually. So things actually just got a new radar scan in, and the data indicates that the rotation has weakened substantially. That is great news. So that's fantastic news right now. The rotation, at least in Washington Parish, is substantially weaker than it looked like at the last radar scan a few moments ago. So very positive sign there. Things are looking up when it comes to that. But I don't want to get off the fact that we still have this line of very strong storms that are coming through at this point. I'll put some motion on here so you can see how things are trending. It's coming our way at this point. North Shore will see the worst of the weather, but even the South Shore will get some rain and storms later tonight, starting around maybe 9 or 10, and then we'll have to deal with storms till about midnight or so. But things will be clearing up heading into the overnight hours, so that is a really fantastic sign, fantastic news that once we go to bed tonight, we will wake up to much nicer weather. So that is very nice news here. So yeah, getting a new update here from the National Weather Service. Just want to read, let's see if there's any. There just have been some numerous trees down with the line of storms, and a few radar indicated tornadoes that we are tracking. It's radar indicated tornado rotation, or radar indicated rotation, which is why there's that tornado warning now still in effect for Washington Parish. But like I just showed you a second ago, things look to be trending in a favorable direction. Yes, there might still be some rotation here right along the state line, but it does look pretty broad and pretty weak. So that's a sign that things are calming down and getting better and improving. So yes, the radar indicated that there was some, but now it's indicating that it's less of a problem, less of an issue, which we certainly like to see when we watch these trends. No sign of any real debris getting lofted into the air. Another good sign there. Nothing jumping off the charts with that. No signatures really popping up too hard there. Make sure you charge your phone if you haven't done so. If you're in St. Tammany Parish, just make sure your phone's charged. As this line pushes through, we'll get those strong wind gusts. It's possible you might get a brief power outage, hopefully not, but just to be safe, maybe charge your phone if you're in Washington Parish as well. If you're also in southern Tangi, storms haven't come to southern Tangi yet, but they're on the way. Maybe just give yourself some extra juice on your phone just in case, because these storms are packing a punch when it comes to the winds. So the winds are really the big thing. Damaging wind gusts, hail, small hail, lightning, heavy rain, and then isolated, weak, brief tornadoes out ahead of the line. Still can't be ruled out over the next couple of hours. That's just the way of the nature of like of a squall line. Sometimes you get these like notches of spin, and that can initiate a tornado warning. And sometimes it's hard to see, what's going on in a situation like this. But it's going to be a messy night. If you can avoid hitting the roads tonight, if you're planning, to visit some friends and family on the North Shore tonight, maybe just tell them tomorrow. We'll hang out tomorrow because it's going to be kind of a messy ride the next couple of hours with the heavy rain coming in, kind of blinding rain. No fun to drive in that. You'll probably have to max out your windshield wipers if you're hitting the roads on the North Shore tonight as this line continues to move eastward. So yeah, it is quiet now. If you're like in Slidell and you're like, what are you talking about? There's nothing going on. It's just not there yet. Give it, another hour or so. Hour and a half, Slidell will see some strong winds and heavy rain and storms coming through. So yeah, and then it'll continue to push east into South Mississippi the rest of tonight. We'll be done with these, on the North Shore probably by like 11. South Shore though, a little bit slower, a little bit of a delay. That's just the orientation of this line that's coming through. So some storms starting to move towards Lake Maurepas. So our river parishes will get them first. There's a lot of lightning with this one. Gonzales, all that lightning just to the southwest of it, that's headed towards our river parishes. Actually, I see that they have initiated a tornado, or not, excuse me, not that. I see they have initiated a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of our river parishes. So river parishes included in that severe thunderstorm warning. It's because of the winds. So St. Charles, St. John, St. James, sometimes it's hard. St. James Parish. St. James Parish is on the leading edge of the South Shore part of the storm advancement. So the storms are making their way through our river parishes now. St. James Parish, gusty winds, strong wind gusts, 50, 60 miles per hour. Heavy rain, lightning in Gonzales now along I-10, moving eastward towards Lake Maurepas. It will fill in the rest of our river parishes and head towards the New Orleans metro within the next two hours or less. So heavy rain and storms coming our way, both sides of the lake. But the worst of the weather, I think, is still going to be north of the lake. Still, though, strong storms expected for the South Shore tonight between like 8 and 11 o'clock tonight. Midnight, we should be seeing things really winding down. 1 a.m. will probably be done. That's like to be safe, like clearing the whole place, like the whole place that we live. I'm saying 1 a.m. we'll be done with it even in South Mississippi by 1 a.m. So I'm just trying to account for the whole entire region, Southeast Louisiana and South Mississippi. It's pretty big. It's a large area, several miles across. So it'll take some time for this line to move through, and that's what we're seeing now. But yep, the North Shore, bad weather right now. Strong storms certainly coming through, and I'm making light of it because we had this tornado warning that is still in effect until 8 o'clock. Still have 7 minutes left, but things are trending in a better direction. Yes, there is some rotation indicated along the state line, but it's very weak and it's very broad, so that is a good sign. But the strong winds associated with this line can still do equal bad damage. Either way, you're going to see some damaging winds for the North Shore continuing to advance eastward, and then again for the South Shore, we will continue to see this line move in just a little bit slower, a little bit more of a delay, but they're making their way into our river parishes now. That the storms are making their way into our westernmost river parishes. St. James Parish seeing some of the action now, and then it will continue going into the next several hours until late tonight. Okay, so there is an update here. Since the storm is still volatile, it's moving, things can change up. Rotation can get tightened back up. The tornado warning has been extended farther to the east, which now includes Pearl River, Mississippi. So there is a tornado warning in effect for Washington Parish still, which includes Angie, and for Pearl River County in South Mississippi, which includes Poplarville, as this line continues to move eastward. And there is that slight indication of rotation here along this line. We are going to continue to stay on air because there is a new tornado warning that has been issued. It does include Varnado and Angie right along the Pearl River here, and it also includes Poplarville and Lumberton in South Mississippi. So new tornado warning in effect to account for this line that's producing some rotation. So that red and green there is the suspected area of rotation, kind of broad and spread out, but it's certainly visible. It's certainly there, and it's enough of a concern to warrant an extension of the tornado warning. So if you live in Varnado, Angie, Fords Creek, either side of Pearl River, on the Louisiana side and Mississippi side, stay inside. Don't go outside. Just kind of wait this thing out. Get into your safe place, away from windows and doors. You will not be able to see this thing. Obviously, it's nighttime and it's raining really hard. Stay away from windows and doors. Don't go outside. Go in your bathroom, closet, low-level part of your home, or wherever you're at, an interior bathroom, an interior closet, something like that would be great. Just to be safe, just to play it safe. Even though things are not exorbitant, things are not screaming off the map here, there is that rotation that's indicated just to the west of Angie, and there might be some other spots along this leading edge that are trying to rotate just north of Varnado, right along Louisiana 21. So still some more rural spots, but we're getting into parts of Washington Parish that have a little bit more population and more people living there and more things going on. So just wait this storm out, let it pass by. We'll still keep this tornado warning with us for probably the next 45 minutes, until 8:45. That's when the tornado warning will be done, at 8:45. So that is what we are watching right now. This storm is moving east pretty quickly, around 40-50 miles per hour. So I did want to mention that there has been an update from the National Weather Service that there have been reports of damage near Sandy Hook, which is 14 miles north of Bogalusa. So it's kind of in that general vicinity of the North Shore, more rural spots, almost on the state line, and towards South Mississippi. So kind of just out of our viewing area. So we are going to watch this because this storm, while it is advancing quickly, it's still not broken apart. The rotating part of the storm has not come apart yet. So tornado warning will continue. It will continue until the next 45 minutes, and it is going to be moving towards the Pearl River. So if you are in Angie, right west of the Pearl River, this is the suspected area of where a tornado could be. Get in your safe place now. Just, wait it out. Wait for this thing to pass by. Wait it out. Lowest level of your home. Hopefully you're in a sturdy structure. This is like in the center part of whatever kind of structure that you're in up there. The center part of it is where you want to be. And of course, away from windows and doors. Bathroom is great. Bathtub, that would be ideal. Debris signature also not popping off the charts here. There may be, there could be some trees getting knocked down, but it would be hard to tell if it was from a possible tornado or from the wind itself from the storm, because the storm line is so impressive when it comes to the wind gusts. So here we go. Just to reset, because it's almost 8 o'clock. 7:58 Central Time here, WWL Louisiana. I just want to bring you the latest information. We are watching a line of strong to severe storms. One new thing has come out. A new tornado warning has been issued just a few moments ago. It is for parts of the North Shore, for parts of Washington Parish, more rural spots, but includes Angie and Varnado. Also, this is going to be extended. This tornado warning will be extended into Pearl River County and South Mississippi, and that does include Poplarville and Lumberton. So it spans the Pearl River, and so this is where we're at, and it does include I-59. But there's nothing there yet. It's still off to the west. It's moving east-southeastward, mostly due east, but it has kind of a southeastward orientation, but it's moving in this direction. It's moving towards the east at this point. Suspected area of where this possible tornado could be. It's almost, again, kind of on the state line. Louisiana 438, in that vicinity, right in that general vicinity of the state line west of Angie. So if you're in Angie, also down to Varnado, because there might be some other kind of spin-ups trying to happen west of Varnado. If you're in this general area, wait it out. Safe place inside where you're at, safe place inside your home, apartment, wherever you're at right now, just wherever you're watching this. Make sure if you have any friends or family there, call them, let them know. We've got a strong storm coming in, possibly a tornado coming out of this storm. It's a chance that it could be happening, definitely not a guarantee. honestly, like the way that it looks now, it does not look very strong. The rotation is visible. You can see the reds and the greens, and when they come together, the winds are rotating. But when they're separated like that, it's more indicative of like a weakening storm, that it's not terrible, that it's not bad, that things are looking okay, that things are not perfect, this is a volatile situation, but when they're broad, when the winds are broad like that, it's less likely that there is something bad happening on the ground. There's less likely that there's a strong tornado on the ground. There's less likely that there's even a tornado on the ground. It's sometimes not a perfect thing to see when you're watching the radar. I mean, and the radar is amazing, of course, but we're looking at the storm aloft, like higher up off the ground. So it's difficult to say what's on the ground right now. When you're looking at winds higher up in the atmosphere, several feet up, it could look like something, is going on higher up in the atmosphere, but on the ground itself, it's difficult to say, what is actually touching the ground. That's why it's very useful when people call in and say, hey, we're seeing this, hey, we're making note of this, and we're seeing this damage, and we're seeing such and such. No reports of anything yet, nothing happening, no one driving along, and unfortunately, encountering this, none of the sort of that happening right now. So that's always a good sign, but right now it is a radar indicated tornado. It's possible. This storm has the ability to rotate and to drop a tornado, so it's a possibility, and that's why we're on it. We're watching it. It's right along the state line. So this is where we're at, west of Angie. This is where you have to be in your safe zone and to stay indoors and stay away from windows and stay away from doors and then things of that nature. You know what? The latest scan also showing another positive sign here that this system is weakening, it's broadening, its rotation is coming apart, so it's less likely that there's going to be a tornado on the ground. To my observation, to what I'm seeing right now, that is a good sign. So yeah, we are going to continue to monitor what's happening online, so we can bring you back to regular programming. I've been taking up a lot of your time, I apologize, but we do have some pretty strong storms coming in across the North and South Shore. We'll be done with these by midnight or so. So we'll jump back on here if there's any other tornado warnings. Hopefully not, fingers crossed, but expect some rough weather the next few hours. Thanks for tuning in, and we will be back tonight at the WWL Louisiana News at 10.
This has been a severe